it's me and I'm back for another video. It's been so long since I've said that, probably 4 or 5 years since I've been making videos like consistently. A lot has changed, so I just wanted to make this video to kind of catch you guys up on what TJ and I have been up to the last few years. But I just kind of wanted to try coming back to YouTube, so that's what this is. I'm so happy to be making videos again. I used to love doing that, and then, you know, life just kind of got a little crazy and I did get burnt out on the budgeting content. So I will say right off the bat, when I am making consistent videos again, it won't be budget content, but you know, I'm always financially mindful at heart. I like good deals on things. I love to thrift. I like making things myself. So there still will be an element of that on my channel, you know, mostly with like thrifting and things like that. But that being said, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what we've been up to. I'm gonna try not to move around too much on this chair. This is pretty much the only place I can film right now. That being said, first things first, this is not my house. TJ and I are currently living with my parents. We are in Southern California. But a couple months ago, we were living in South Carolina. We lived there for almost a year. It was like 11 months. Absolutely loved it out there. We made the move in summer of 2023 and then moved back summer of 2024. We were expecting to be out there for a little bit longer, but there's some family health issues going on that we really wanted to be around for. We have missed quite a lot of important things that have happened here back home this year. So we just made the decision that we needed to be close to family right now. We're really excited to go back to our house. We should be in our house in just a little over a month. So I figured, you know, I want to make the return to YouTube and I'm not going to wait until I'm back in my house to do it. So hopefully you guys don't mind. My mom was nice enough to let me use her room because TJ and I, our room is a disaster. You know, all of our belongings are in that one room. So, well, they are also in a storage unit, but you know, everything that we have with us here, including all of my yarn. I'm very into crochet. I have been for almost like the last year. So that's a little bit of what I want to talk about on my channel. I would love to show you guys what I crochet. I do go to like vendor markets and sell my creations at those markets. It's a great little side hustle. I would love to teach anyone who wants to learn how to crochet. I want to do like what I crochet in a week videos. I follow a lot of crochet YouTubers here on YouTube. So, you know, I just was inspired watching their videos and have always wanted to make a return to YouTube. I just didn't really know what I wanted to talk about because I am, you know, like I said, kind of burnt out on the budgeting topics. So I definitely want to talk about crochet, but I'm also super into thrifting. Always have been. I've posted a couple thrift hauls on my channel over the years, but right now especially, I don't know, it's something about fall that just makes me want to thrift. Part of why I'm like really into thrifting right now is that I have lost a lot of weight. I'm going through a weight loss journey, if you will, and you know, a lot of my clothes don't fit anymore and I don't have the budget to be going out and buying a brand new wardrobe from the stores, especially, you know, I'm not done losing weight, so I don't want to buy expensive clothes and then have them not fit in a few months. So that's a big reason why I'm very into thrifting right now. I obviously want to save money and there's no use buying clothes that fit right now that won't fit in, you know, a couple months. So yeah, if you guys want to hear more about my weight loss journey, there's a chance that I'd be open to talking about it. It is obviously very personal. The internet can be a very weird place when it comes to that. Not everybody's interested in hearing about weight loss stuff. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you're interested, I can definitely talk about it. I could save that for like an Instagram only type of thing. Whatever you guys are interested in hearing me talk about. Would love to show you guys thrift hauls, thrift flips. I love to sew. So, you know, that's kind of what I have in mind for this channel in the future. I hope that that interests you guys and you want to stick around. But, you know, if you're here purely for budget content, I get it. No hard feelings. So yeah, TJ and I moved back to Southern California a couple months ago. We still have our 2 dogs, Ellie and Griffin. They're doing good. They're both getting quite old. They're like 9 years old now. So you know, getting up there in age, but they're still full of energy, full of life, and we're really excited to have them back in our house. They were apartment dogs for a year. They did great though. Yeah, we absolutely loved it. We had plans to stay there for years, but it just didn't work out that way. Who knows, you know, maybe in the future we'll find ourselves living somewhere else. We rented out our house while we were living there and had a great experience with that, found some amazing tenants. So, you know, we feel like we could do that again in the future. Just rent our house out, go live somewhere cool for a year or two. That's kind of both of our preferred way to travel, is to really like take our time getting to know a place rather than just going and visiting for a couple of days. You don't really get to like see what it's really like to be somewhere if you're only there for a couple of days. So we kind of like the idea of picking really cool cities like, I don't know, Boston, or I don't know, Denver's that cool, but you know, places like that, and just staying for a year, seeing what it's like there for one whole year. So that's kind of what we're thinking in the future, but who knows, plans change all the time. That's kind of what the last like year has taught TJ and I both, that like you can make plans, but life has other plans for you. So you better be flexible with those plans. But what else have we been up to since I last spoke to you guys? We bought a house in 2021 in March, back when the market was just insane. The interest rates were really low. We did get a fantastic interest rate, which is pretty much the only reason why we were able to afford a house in California. If we had to buy a house now, we probably would not be able to afford one. So we feel really lucky with that. We spent a good couple months in 2023 getting everything fixed up, and then moved like right away. You know, we were just getting things fixed up for our tenants, so I didn't really get to enjoy, like, I repainted our entire kitchen. I'll put pictures and videos here of what our kitchen turned out like and what it started like. So put a lot of work into that house, and I'm excited to get back into it and start enjoying that work. I went to Instagram. A lot of you guys follow me over there. It's at Alyssa Nicole Budgets right now, but that's another thing. If I'm not making budgeting content, I was kind of brainstorming another name for my channel, and since it will be a lot about, you know, crocheting, thrift flips, sewing, I was kind of thinking, I have an Instagram account for my crochet. It's called Alyssa Makes Amigurumi. And amigurumi is basically just little crocheted like animals and figures and stuff. And you know, my name starts with an A, and so does amigurumi, so that's the name that I came up with. But I was thinking for my channel it could be Alyssa Makes Everything, maybe, because I kind of do make a little bit of everything. You know, I've made desks before out of wood. You guys know that I'm pretty handy, so I just thought that would be kind of fun. That way it's not, you know, pigeonholing me into one thing. I could kind of have a little bit of free reign with my channel, which is what I think I need. You know, I do have ADHD, so I do get distracted, and my friends always joke about how many hobbies I have and how I switch around from hobby to hobby, but crochet I have stuck with for the last almost year, and then sewing, I've loved to sew since I was little. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking for the channel. But over on my Instagram, which is currently Alyssa Nicole Budgets, might be changing to maybe Alyssa Makes Everything. I don't know. But I asked you guys if you had any questions for me to talk about in an upcoming video. I actually did film this video before, but it was just in my car and I didn't really like how it turned out. Like, life update, oh no, temperature. So this is me remaking it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up those questions. All right, so the first question that I had was someone wanted to know more about our experience living in a different state. So I'll just talk a little bit about what it was like living in South Carolina. We lived in the upstate, so it was really close to North Carolina, kind of nestled up into like the Blue Ridge Mountains. So, you know, before we moved, everyone was talking about the humidity and how hot it gets there. And yes, it did still get hot and humid where we lived in Greenville, but it doesn't get nearly as humid as it would have if we lived in like Charleston or Columbia. So we absolutely loved the weather there. The change of seasons was really fun. In Southern California, there's not really like distinct seasons, and obviously in the South it is a more mild climate. Even you are getting seasons, but they're not as drastic as they would be like in the North. But still, you know, it got down below freezing during the winter. Everything died and it was very gloomy. I didn't love the winter, I will say that. Just, it is very gray, and coming from California where there's blue skies and sunshine, almost 365 days a year. That was tough for me in the winter. But other than that, spring was absolutely gorgeous. Just seeing everything truly like come to life after it had been dead for so many months. I don't know, it was really cool. Even the gloomy months kind of made the springtime more worth it for me. And then fall was stunning. Summer's gorgeous. We didn't get a chance to go out to the lake this time, but when we came to visit the year before we moved out there, we went to one of the nearby lakes and it was just so fun, so beautiful. So South Carolina is a gorgeous state, absolutely loved it. And I found a job there that I absolutely loved. I worked as a medical assistant. I don't think I've ever really talked on this channel about my like history in healthcare, but I became a medical assistant in 2015. Worked for a couple years in primary care, had a horrific experience, kind of took a break for a couple years from healthcare as a result, but always kept like my MA certification up to date. Just, I worked hard for it. I wanted to make sure I always had that option to go back if I needed to, and turns out that worked out great for me because when we got to South Carolina, the job that I thought I had lined up fell through. And so, I said, I need to find a job. Started applying on Monday, and I'm pretty sure by Friday I had a job, if not that following Monday. So I had a really easy experience finding a job there, and I found just the most amazing place. I was working for a specialist. It was an orthopedic and neuro group, but I worked for a pain management specialist specifically, made some of the most amazing friends there. I miss it so much. I do want to go back and visit those friends. Some of my friends from out there want to come visit here. We need to get like a little guest room set up in our house. I want to make a room in our house that's like my yarn room, my crochet room, but also doubles as a guest room. That's kind of my hope. So that's what I'm thinking, so that some of my friends from out of town can come visit and have a place to stay. TJ worked from home the entire time that we lived in South Carolina, so he didn't really get like as immersed in the culture as I did, I would say. I even started to kind of like pick up a little bit of a southern accent, like just a hint of it when I was at work, just surrounded by people with like such a thick accent. It was like inevitable, but it was just really great. We lived in right in the downtown area, so a lot of the people that lived downtown with us didn't really have an accent. They weren't from the area. You know how it goes with like gentrification of towns. The nicer places tend to get populated by people that didn't grow up there because they can't afford it anymore. So, we lived in an area with a lot of transplants, so TJ didn't really like interact with a lot of locals, but I definitely had so much fun getting to know the people that have like lived there their whole lives. I'd never met so many people that lived in paid off houses. Like that's just not a thing out here. Like people don't have the opportunity to pay off their houses because the houses are so much more expensive. I'm not saying that it never happens, but I just haven't met people that say, oh yeah, I live in the house I grew up in. My parents, just let us live there and it's paid off and they live in a different house now. So I just thought that was really cool. Like what a gift to be able to give your kids someday. Like, yeah, this is a house that we have in our family that you can just live in and pay the taxes, pay the utilities and stuff like that. That's just something that you don't hear about here. So I just thought that was really cool. Absolutely loved South Carolina. We did get to travel just a little bit while we were there. We wanted to go to like DC and Florida, go to Disney World, but we didn't make it to all those places in the year that we were there. We just went to Asheville for my 30th birthday in June. We had so much fun there. TJ took me to a fancy dinner, and then my birthday wish was for him to just drive me to like 7 different thrift stores. So that's what we did, and I was really on a hunt for vintage Coach purses. That's like one of my big things that I like to thrift for, and sadly it's really hard to do here in Southern California. I think there are just too many people that like enjoy thrifting. I live in a town with lots of like trendy teenagers that love to thrift, so I think they're just like scooping up all the good stuff before I get there, whereas in South Carolina like there wasn't a ton of people that were thrifting necessarily for the same things that I'm thrifting for, at least. So the thrifting there was definitely better, but I still want to try some like small towns around me to see if maybe their thrift stores are a little bit better. But yeah, that's what we did for my birthday. Was we went to Asheville, stayed in a hotel up there. It was only like an hour and a half away, and we really wanted to go back and go tubing. There's a river that flows through Asheville but we never got a chance to do that. So we'll just have to go back and visit. So yeah, that was a very long answer to that question. Someone said WGU update, please. So it's been so long since I was going to WGU, and I'm not anymore. I think I only did one term there, and then I think things changed with my job. I don't know, I wasn't able to pay for the second term maybe, but things have changed a lot. I think I was going to WGU for business. That's really not something that I don't really want to do anymore. Definitely my experience in South Carolina working in healthcare kind of reignited my love for healthcare, but then I moved here. Briefly worked at another awful doctor's office. So I don't really know. I'm a little bit up in the air on like my degree and schooling and whatnot. I actually am going to school currently. I'm just enrolled in the community college. I'm doing one online class currently. So still making an effort, but just a little undecided on what I want to do. I was gonna say lost, but no, undecided. So, you know, when all else fails, make YouTube videos. Someone asked, what did you miss the most about Southern California? Well, aside from our families, we really like some of the restaurants that are around. My favorite Thai food place is here. There was great Thai food in South Carolina too, but there's just something about like the place that you've eaten at for years. We've had that Thai food so many times since we moved back. I missed In-N-Out. In-N-Out is delicious. What else did I miss about California? I will say California has great produce. In South Carolina, sometimes we couldn't find the things that we wanted, or if we did, if they had a couple like onions or something left, they weren't good. Whereas in California, like so much of our country's produce is grown here that the quality of the produce is really good. So I do like that. There's something nice about just being like back in the town that you grew up in. Like I enjoy not having to use my GPS to drive around. There was one day in Greenville where I thought I lost my phone. It was just like, you know, in between the seat and the center console of the car, but like I could not find it. And I was out a couple towns away. Luckily I had been to that store before, so I did know how to get home, but just the panic going through me, like I don't know how to get anywhere without my phone. So, you know, that was nerve-wracking. Luckily, I do know my husband's phone number by heart, so I could have called him, you know, from the store phone or something if I didn't know how to get home. But it's nice being back somewhere where, you know, drop me off anywhere in the surrounding area and I pretty much could find my way home. That's a nice thing. And just having family that can help you out. Like we were down to one car in South Carolina. We sold my car to move out there. And then when we moved back, one of our family members had a car that had been sitting around and they're letting us use it. So it's nice to have people around. But I will say, while we were in South Carolina, like TJ and I really learned to rely on each other as a couple, which I think like strengthened our marriage, and just, it was a really great time for us. It was a year of like truly just us focusing on each other. So I really liked it, but it is good to be back. It's bittersweet, I'll say that. Someone asked if I'm still cash envelope stuffing and if I still budget the same way. I definitely don't budget the same way. I don't use cash envelopes, but that's not to say I'm against it. I just kind of fell out of the habit and I've been making it work with what I've been doing. But TJ and I did start talking about possibly doing cash envelopes again, just to help us like really stick to a budget. Since we're gonna be moving back into our house, it's roughly $1,200 more a month to live in our house than it was in South Carolina. So, you know, my money's gonna be tight again, which is part of the reason why I'm returning to YouTube. It would be great to have a little side hustle going on. So yeah, that's where we're at with budgeting. Not following any sort of Dave Ramsey plan. If you guys have noticed, I've taken Dave Ramsey's name out of the title of all of my videos. I just don't really align with a lot of his views. The more I've learned about him, just not something I want to really like hitch my wagon to, you know? So yeah, that's where we're at with budgeting. Someone asked, what are your future plans and what are your husband's? I don't know. It kind of changes for us. We're big dreamers. Like we love to just dream about what our lives will be like. We're both 30 now. TJ's birthday was a couple days ago. You know, you would think that you'd have it all figured out by now, but you really don't. I think your 20s are kind of for figuring things out, and then your 30s are for just like enacting those plans. So for a long time I was thinking nursing, and I'm not against that still. I am technically like in the prereqs. It's just, you know, it's a lot. It's thinking about what you want to sign yourself up for in the future, and just seeing parts of healthcare that are not the best. I'm just not 100% sure if I want to get into that, but we'll see. But as for TJ, I mean, he still works at the same job that he's had for a couple years. He's going back to school also, so we'll see where life takes him. Yeah, we want to live our lives to the fullest and enjoy life currently. TJ and I did lose a very dear friend of ours. He was more like a brother to TJ. We lost him this summer, and he was really young. He was 30. And so, you know, that loss kind of made us and all of our friends that we have mutually together kind of think to ourselves, you know, life is short. We're not guaranteed to have a retirement. And, you know, if you're saving all this money for the life that you might have 20 years from now, there's no guarantee that you're going to be around and able-bodied enough to enjoy it. So, you know, that kind of shifted perspective for us. And we just want to enjoy life. So I'm thinking there'll probably be more travel in our future. We did just get back from 3 days in Disneyland. We had the most amazing time. We actually went as a little bit of like a celebration of life for our friend, with some of his friends as well, who have now become our friends. And it was just so great to be with friends and, you know, the happiest place on earth. So we want to do more stuff like that. We want to make a trip to Canada to see our friends up there, go to some national parks or something like that. We hopefully will be going to Europe next year. So there's a lot of exciting things in the future. Okay, someone asked, what do you do for work now? So if you would have asked me a couple days ago, I would have said that I am a medical assistant at another primary care office. But I just quit while I was at Disneyland. Let's just say it wasn't a good fit. I only worked there for 3 weeks and then decided it wasn't a good fit. So kind of back on the job hunt, but while I'm looking, I want to just focus on crocheting, maybe do another vendor market and work on YouTube videos. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now, hunting for a job and then doing this. Someone asked, are there any other states you'd want to move to in the future? Absolutely. I am pretty much down to move, I wouldn't say anywhere, but I would pretty much try just about anywhere. I don't know, I grew up in California, so I feel like I have seen what I needed to see. Plus I can't really afford anywhere other than the place I live right now, especially not anywhere nicer. So that's what I like about other states, is that you can move somewhere pretty nice and pay less money than if you were in California. So I like all sorts of states. I think the South is beautiful. Obviously it has its issues. I don't like Texas, I'm sorry. I know Texans are very proud of their state. I'm just not a fan. I would not live there. But other than that, never say never. I would try just about anything. And I would for sure move out of the country. You know, Canada, Europe, who knows? We'll see. Someone asked, don't feel obligated to give details, of course, but how did TJ's best friend pass? Was it sudden? Yes, it felt sudden. He was sick. He had a rare cancer that we still don't even know what it was. He found a lump in his neck, and then 10 weeks after he went and got it checked out, he was gone. So yeah, it was really difficult. You just never think someone so young and so full of life could be gone that quickly. So yeah, it was rough. I don't want to go into like a ton of details, but that's basically the story. He left behind a lot of people that loved him, and a beautiful would have been fiance. And yeah, he's just very missed. And then I think the final question would just be, what did you think about the cost of living between South Carolina and California? And I think obviously the biggest thing is the housing. Like I said, we paid $1,700 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment in downtown Greenville. Like, and I mean, we were steps away from all of the festivals, all of the events. We could walk out of our doorstep and in about 2 minutes be at a stunning waterfall. We really felt like we were living in like a luxury hotel. We lived in a, I don't know if it's a high rise. I mean, it was a 6-story tall apartment and with like a rooftop. It was just amazing. I mean, to rent a 1-bedroom apartment in the town that I'm in would probably be $2,500. And you're not a walk away from anything exciting. So to us, that was huge. And in South Carolina, the amount that we were paying for that apartment was insane to most people. Like that was a lot of money. So we could have easily spent $1,000 on a decent apartment, you know, in a normal location, like a suburban location. So that's just wild. That was one of the main reasons why we moved, was just to live somewhere where money didn't have to be as tight. But you know, moving in itself is expensive, so we didn't really have enough time to like catch up from the move across the country and everything associated with that to really feel the difference. I mean, we did feel it, but I don't know, we didn't get to enjoy it for that long before it was time to save up money to move back. So other than the housing though, I mean, the gas was way cheaper. I think it's like $2 less a gallon than it is here. But other than that, groceries are expensive everywhere. Utilities were cheaper. We paid a flat $20 a month for our water. The electricity was pretty good, but obviously, you know, we were in an apartment, so we didn't have a ton of utility bills. Like as far as registration goes, everyone loses their mind about, you know, California registration prices, but in South Carolina, it truly wasn't much better. They don't have the same type of registration fees as we do here in California, but you pay, I think you pay property tax on your cars, which kind of evens it out. So it was regardless a couple $100s a year to like register the car. So not a big savings there, not a huge savings with car insurance or anything like that. So pretty much where you're really saving is in the housing. And so I really like to do this fun game with myself where I go on Zillow and I plug in, you know, how much we could put on a down payment if we sold our house, and just look at the kinds of houses that we could, you know, buy and spend $1,200 a month on our mortgage. Just sounds amazing. So that's a fun little game I like to play with myself when I just want to feel bad. But yeah, that is it for your guys' questions. This is probably going to be kind of a longer video, but I know you guys have always liked that anyways. So if you did watch till the end, thank you so much for watching. It's been so long since I made a video, but I'm so glad that you're still sticking around. So many of you have been so nice over on my Instagram. You know, I kind of came in and was nervous that no one would want to watch any of my videos if I wasn't talking about budgeting, but so many of you guys reached out and said, I don't even care what you're talking about, like I just like to watch your videos. So thank you guys so much for always being so supportive and kind and making me actually want to come back to YouTube. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't even want to like say it out loud, but I'm really hoping that I will be posting 1 video a week going forward. You heard it here first. That's my goal. So I really want to come back and be on here like I used to be. So if you're interested in that, please stick around. If you're not already subscribed, couldn't hurt. Maybe hit the subscribe button. Leave down in the comments what you guys have been up to the last few years. I recognize a lot of you guys over on my Instagram just because I see like your profile photos and stuff. So many of you guys haven't even changed your profile photos in like 5 years, which is very helpful for me because I know who you guys are. But you know, I might still even remember some of you guys in the comments down below. So let me know what you guys have been up to, how the last few years have been treating you. I know they've been some rough ones. So I hope you guys have all been doing okay. It was really nice catching up with you guys. Hopefully you're still down for my future content. The next video will probably be something crochet or thrift related. So hopefully you guys like that. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.